bitches be like, I read 10 plus books this month. Oh hi, I'm bitches by the way. Struggle is real, the pressure is real, the amount of time against the amount of books that we want to read is destroying us. Hello my beautiful book dragons, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to ramble a little bit because I've been having an issue with booktube, with book Twitter, with the book community in general here on the internet, and I didn't know that I had this issue since this week that I did not finish any books. I know. If you tell someone like that's not a book reader the way that we here in this community are, they would be like, I haven't read a book all year long. But for us, it's a bit of pressure, especially when it comes the end of the month and you have to present the books that you read and you put up your wrap up and you're like, here are the 10 plus books that I read. I wanted to read about 15 books every single month, which makes no sense because my yearly goal is of 100 books, so I should be reading more like 10. So I adjusted that a little bit in my latest wrap-ups and it took a little bit of the pressure away, but then I don't know if I can do 10 books every single month. Right now we've been quarantined, we've been doing nothing, or at least I have not been doing much stuff. I've had a lot of free time going back to my activities little by little, as much as the pandemic really allows us to, but I'm gonna stop reading as much. And also I've been trying to read more classics, and then I started making like a goal list for me for every single month. Like, I want to read a long book, I want to read a difficult book, I want to read a classic, I want to read a non-fiction, like I want to read one book by Stephen King. Like, I had a list of every single month the books that I need to read, and it's just crazy. It's getting crazy. At first I thought it was a great idea that this was happening because I thought this is going to keep me motivated to read more, which is at the end of the day what I want to do. I would love to just read all the books. We all want to just read all the books. I think we have a really small line that really divides. Is this motivation, or is this just peer pressure that we're putting in ourselves and we're not even really enjoying the books that we are reading? I've been reading books that I didn't really love and then not DNFing them because I wanted to talk to you guys about, or arcs that I have not been really enjoying as much, and I would still finish them so that I can put a review or that I can post even on Goodreads about it. And it's not just about that, but also the fact that I am just putting a lot of deadlines in there, that I'm trying to read every single book so fast and I have to read 2 or 3 books every single week. And if I can do that, then I will just like insert there a short story that I was not even interested in, just to like have an extra book in there. Don't look at me that way. I know you do it too. Like, I know that you are like, oh no, I'm missing a book this week, I'm just gonna read this short story or this 1 hour long audiobook and then I'm gonna be done with it. I'm gonna stick it into my Goodreads and it's gonna be awesome. That or manga and stuff like that. I don't read comics, but if you do that, you know what I'm talking about. And sometimes it's stuff that you are not really, you didn't even want it to read. You just search like, what is the fastest read for me right now? And you put that in your TBR and you read it and you're like, yeah, done. But are we really, number one, prioritizing the books that we want to read? And number two, taking our sweet time with our books? Because I used to really, like, if I really enjoyed a book, I used to read it twice. Like, I would read it first just to get the first impression, just to get the characters, just to see what happens, just like really get involved with, more than anything, the story, the plots, and the characters. And then if I wanted to, if I feel like this was so well written that I really enjoyed it, I would give it a second read. And then in that second read you can get a little bit more technical if you want, and you can really search for like, what is this writing style, what does the author really want to transmit through the books, etc., etc. So I really enjoyed doing that, as well as just reading first time without taking notes, without thinking about anything, just enjoying the story, like letting the author really bring me into the world and just like suck me in. And then I will reread it and I'll be like, okay, now I can start like taking my notes, highlighting, putting post-its, etc., etc. But now I don't even want to reread books, not even the ones that I love and that I know I'm going to have a blast with. Like, I have so many books that I want to read, so many books that I have to read, I'm like, the next, and I'm not rereading anything, and that really sucks. I would like to know your thoughts about rereading books, about having that pressure of reading 10 plus books every single month, etc., participating in every single readathon, participating in every single book club, and just having that pressure of I need to read 3,000 books for this book club. And it's not just that, but you also have to make notes if you want to review the books, and you also have to write a blog post to go with your video if you can't do that kind of, which I started doing, and I love doing that. I love making the videos about the books that I'm reading. I love discussing. I love going into Goodreads and seeing other people's reviews and comparing it with mine, and I love that. I love talking about books. I love reading books, but I think that we are taking this into the wrong side of things. And also I feel like, I mean, let's be honest, we like to know things. If you are a reader, especially if you are like a Ravenclaw type of person, like I am, I like to know things. I like to be like, oh, I already read that book. Oh, I'm so smart, like, I like that. I like the feeling, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm not reading for other people. I'm not reading for like, to tell other people, oh, I already read that book. It's so good. And I hated that book. I was like reading something the other day, but I hated that book and everyone loves it. Stephen King recommended it. So for me, it's like, if Stephen King recommended it, it must be good. It has to be good. So we already have this conception of books. Specifically, someone recommends, we're supposed to like them. In someone here on BookTube, and then everyone here is talking about this YA fantasy, and they all love it. You have to read it. You have to read it to fit in, to make yourself popular here on BookTube, so that people would see that you are reading the popular books and they will subscribe to your channel. And what if you don't even enjoy them? You have to just like put up a face and be like, oh, let's talk about this book that I read because it's so popular, or this fantastic classic that I read because I'm so bougie and I'm so smart. And then we're scared, like, what if I'm not liking it because I'm not getting it? What if I'm not liking it because I'm stupid and I'm not as enlightened and as a genius reader as X or Y person? So we really have to, I think, find that balance between reading for yourself whilst at the same time putting out content that people are interested in. And also, I'm gonna start taking my sweet times with books again. I realized that the books that I was not putting pressure on myself, I've been reading some H.G. Wells, one of the fathers of science fiction. I love science fiction, so I thought going in that direction with classics would be great, and it has been. I loved it. But again, I could ask someone else and you can tell me like, I absolutely hate H.G. Wells. It's like everyone is so unique and everyone has a different likes and dislikes in books, and I think that we should be celebrating that instead of just putting pressure on people and also being like, oh, I need to like this, I need to read this if I want my subscribers to watch my videos. I think that's really sad, and I think that's something that we really need to work on here on BookTube, as well as finding your tribe, finding the people that like to read the same kind of books that you like. So if I am not reading that much YA anymore, it's because I don't really enjoy it anymore. They just don't hit me the same way that they did before. And that is okay, because we are all just like evolving and also trying to find the books that we actually really like and resonate with us. And to do that, I think that we should be taking our time with them. Also, like, if you're reading Throne of Glass and you read the whole series in a month, that's fine, because you're probably really into them and you're like just trying to know what the heck is going to happen next, and you are like so much into the plot twist and the characters that you just want to know what happens. And that is great if you want to read them like really fast and you are liking them. But if you are starting, for example, with classics, that is something that I've been struggling with. I love them. I have a big love for them, but there's really big names that I have not read that I want to try out. And for me to like just jump into classics without any prior to that, like, I'm a physics engineer. I had not taken courses to like specifically look through classics. But for doing that, again, I need to take my time with these, especially if they're a little bit more difficult. So I just want to tell you guys, like, if you are feeling right now really pressured to like put up a wrap up of 10 plus, 20 plus books that you've read, you really don't have to. Like, no one is making you do that. And I feel like it would even be more relatable for people to see a wrap up and be like, I read these 3 fabulous books, and I look at all of my notes and look at all of the stuff that I got out from it. Let's really dive into them and talk about them. I think that would be more important than just like putting that balance between quantity over quality and bringing that quality up in our reading to like really dive in the stuff that we're reading, really dive in into the book, even like research the author. Do you ever do that? I've been doing that a lot recently. Also, it gives a lot of context to the book and it's not part of your reading time. I think it is important that we do that we start to prioritize the quality of our reading, that we're really taking all of the stuff out that we really want to take. So that is a little chat for today. I do want to know your opinions down below, so please let me know in the comments, what do you think? Have you been pressured? Do you think this is a good motivational thing, or do you think that this is breaking you down? I would really like to know that. Please make sure to like, comment and subscribe as always if you have not already, and I will see you beautiful book dragons in my next video. Bye. Cause you found it the highway. Remember when you saw me in the club, didn't show me any love?